The studio lights blaze down on the sleek, modern set of the Jonathan Ross Show, where the audience is buzzing with anticipation. Gordon Ramsay, the world-renowned chef with a reputation for his fiery temper and sharp tongue, strides confidently onto the stage. His presence is magnetic, his tailored suit crisp, and his signature scowl already hinting at the storm to come. Jonathan Ross, the charismatic host known for pushing boundaries, greets him with a cheeky grin, setting the tone for what promises to be an explosive interview. The crowd roars as Gordon takes his seat, his eyes scanning the room like a hawk sizing up its prey. The tension is palpable, and it's clear that this isn't going to be a typical chat show segment. Ross wastes no time diving into Gordon's latest ventures, from his Michelin-starred restaurants to his hit TV shows like Hell's Kitchen and MasterChef. But it's when Ross playfully jabs at Gordon's infamous on-screen rants that the chef's demeanor shifts. His jaw tightens, and his eyes narrow, signaling that he's not here to be mocked. The audience senses the shift, their laughter turning to murmurs as Ross presses further, questioning Gordon's aggressive style in the kitchen. "Do you ever think you go too far?" Ross asks with a smirk, leaning back in his chair. Gordon leans forward, his voice low but laced with intensity. "I don't go too far, I push people to be their best. You wouldn't understand that." Sitting behind a desk cracking jokes, the crowd gasps, and Ross's smile falters for a split second. This is no longer just banter, it's a challenge. Gordon's words hang in the air, and the atmosphere thickens as the two men lock eyes. Ross, never one to back down, fires back with the quip about Gordon's temper being more theatrical than necessary, and that's when the first spark ignites. Gordon's face reddens, and he snaps, "You think it's an act? Try running a kitchen with millions on the line, mate." The audience is on edge, some cheering, others whispering. As the confrontation begins to escalate, Ross tries to steer the conversation back to lighter territory, asking about Gordon's family life, but the chef isn't having it. He doubles down, accusing Ross of trivializing his craft. "You lot in the media love to paint me as the bad guy, but you don't get it. Cooking at that level isn't a gamia, it's war." The crowd erupts, some in support, others in shock, as Ross raises an eyebrow, clearly taken aback by the intensity. The stage is set for a clash that no one saw coming, and it's only the beginning. The producers in the control room exchange nervous glances, knowing they've got a potential disaster or viral momentum on their hands. Gordon's passion, often admired, is now teetering on the edge of something uncontrollable, and Ross's knack for provocation is pushing all the right buttons. The segment, meant to be a fun celebrity chat, is spiraling into uncharted territory, and the audience can't look away. Every word feels like a step closer to an explosion, and the question on everyone's mind is whether Gordon will walk off or if Ross will push him to the breaking point. The energy in the room is electric, a mix of excitement and unease, as the two titans of television clash in a way that's both thrilling and unsettling. This isn't just a talk show anymore, it's a battleground. As the tension mounts, Jonathan Ross tries to regain control, his voice dripping with that signature charm that's made him a household name. He leans forward, attempting to defuse the situation with a joke about Gordon's love for swearing on TV. "You've got a mouth like a sailor, Gordon. Ever thought of toning it down?" The audience laughs, but Gordon's not amused. His eyes flash with defiance, and he fires back. "Tone it down? I'm real, Jonathan." Unlike some people who play nice for the cameras, the jab is unmistakable, and the crowd gasps, feeding off the raw energy of the exchange. Ross, sensing the moment slipping further, shifts tactics, asking Gordon about his recent controversies, including a rumored feud with another celebrity chef. This is where things take a darker turn. Gordon's voice rises, his Scottish accent cutting through the air like a knife. "You want to talk about feuds? Let's talk about how the media twists everything. You're part of that machine, aren't you?" Ross's smile tightens, and he tries to interject, but Gordon's on a roll, his words pouring out like a pent-up tirade. He recounts the pressures of running a global restaurant empire, the sleepless nights, the relentless scrutiny, and how shows like Ross's thrive on sensationalizing it all. The audience is torn. Some cheer Gordon's raw honesty, while others squirm at the uncomfortable truth. Ross, ever the showman, tries to pivot to a lighter topic, asking about Gordon's experience on set with other celebrities, but the chef cuts him off. "Don't change the subject. You asked for real, so here it is. I'm sick of people like you poking at my life for laughs." The accusation lands like a punch, and Ross's face betrays a flicker of irritation. The crowd's murmurs grow louder, and the atmosphere feels like it's teetering on chaos. Backstage, the production team is scrambling, unsure whether to cut to commercial or let the drama unfold. Gordon's not just challenging Rosa, he's challenging the entire talk show format, calling out its superficiality in a way that's both jarring and captivating. His hands gesture wildly, emphasizing every point, and his voice carries the weight of years in a cutthroat industry. Ross, realizing he's losing the upper hand, doubles down, accusing Gordon of being overly sensitive. "Come on, Gordon, it's just telly. You can't take it personally." "That's the wrong thing to say." Gordon's chair scraps as he leans forward, his voice booming. "It's not just telly when it's my life, my work, my family." The audience is now fully invested, some shouting encouragement, others stunned into silence. The confrontation is no longer about the single question or comment, it's about two worlds colliding, Gordon's high-stakes, high-pressure reality versus Ross's polished, entertainment-driven stage. The line between guest and host blurs as the exchange becomes a raw, unfiltered spectacle. The question now is how far this will go before Samia Gordon, Ross, or the producer draws a line. The studio is a pressure cooker, and Gordon Ramsay is the flame. His voice, now a full-throated roar, fills the space as he continues his tirade against what he sees as the media's obsession with tearing him down. "You think it's easy? You try running a kitchen where one mistake costs you everything: your reputation, your business, your legacy." Jonathan Ross, usually unflappable, is visibly rattled but refuses to back down. He counters with a pointed jab: "Maybe if you didn't scream at everyone, people wouldn't care as much." The audience erupts, half in laughter, half in shock, as Gordon's eyes widen in disbelief. "Scream? I don't scream when I lead. You wouldn't last 5 minutes in my world." The exchange is like a tennis match, each volley more intense than the last. Ross, sensing the crowd's energy, tries to lighten the mood by bringing up a viral moment from Gordon's show where he famously called a dish dog food. But Gordon's not in the mood for nostalgia. He snaps, "You love that clip, don't you? That's all you lot care about, is sound bites, not the truth." The audience is eating it up, the reactions a mix of cheers and gasps, as the confrontation takes on a life of its own. Ross, now fully aware he's poked a bear, tries to steer the conversation toward Gordon's personal life, asking about his wife Donna and their kids. It's a miscalculation. Gordon's voice lowers, but it's no less intense. "Don't bring my family into this. You don't get to do that." The crowd falls silent, the weight of Gordon's words sinking in. Ross, for the first time, looks genuinely unsure, his usual quick wit failing him. He tries to recover, offering a half-hearted apology, but Gordon's not having it. "You don't get to apologize now. You wanted a show, you got one." The tension is unbearable, and the producers are now openly debating whether to intervene. The camera zooms in on Gordon's face, his jaw clenched, his eyes burning with a mix of anger and betrayal. This isn't just about Ross anymore, it's about years of being caricatured as the angry chef. The audience, caught between admiration and discomfort, can't look away. Ross, desperate to regain control, tries to pivot to a prepared segment about Gordon's latest cookbook, but the chef cuts him off again. "I'm not here to plug a book, I'm here to set things straight." The declaration sends a ripple through the crowd, and social media is already lighting up with clips of the exchange. The confrontation is no longer just a moment, it's a cultural event, one that will be dissected for weeks. Gordon's raw emotion, his refusal to play the game, is both his strength and his undoing. Ross, meanwhile, is walking a tightrope, trying to salvage the segment without losing face. The question now is whether either man can back down without losing something bigger. The confrontation reaches a boiling point as Gordon Ramsay, now standing, towers over the set, his voice thundering through the studio. "You think you can sit there and judge me? You don't know what it takes to build what I've built." Jonathan Ross, still seated, tries to maintain his composure, but the cracks are showing. His usual playful demeanor is gone, replaced by a defensive edge. "Gordon, mate, it's a talk show. Relax." "Yeah, but relaxation is the last thing on Gordon's mind." He paces the stage, his hands slicing through the air as he unleashes years of frustration. "Relax, you don't get it, do you? This is my life, every day, every plate, every bloody second." The audience is on the edge of their seats, some shouting support, others stunned into silence. Ross, realizing he's losing control of the narrative, makes a fateful decision to push back harder. "You're acting like you're the only one with the tough job. We all deal with pressure, Gordon. It's the wrong move." Gordon stops pacing, turns sharply, and points directly at Ross. "Pressure? You call this pressure? Try having the world watch your every move, waiting for you to fail." The crowd roars, feeding off the raw intensity. The producers, now in full panic mode, signal to cut to commercial, but the director overrides aim. This is too good to stop. Gordon's not done. He launches into a passionate defense of his craft, detailing the grueling hours, the relentless pursuit of perfection, and the personal toll it takes. "You think I enjoy being the bad guy? I do it because I have to, because no one else will." Ross, now visibly flustered, tries to interject with a joke, but it falls flat. The audience isn't laughing anymore, they're witnessing something raw, something real. Gordon's not just fighting Ross, he's fighting the caricature he's been reduced to. The chef's voice cracks as he talks about the sacrifices, missed birthdays, sleepless nights, the constant fear of losing it all. For a moment, the anger gives way to vulnerability, and the crowd softens, some even tearing up. But Ross, perhaps sensing an opportunity to regain control, makes a fatal mistake. "Sounds like you're making excuses, Gordon." The words hang in the air, and the studio goes silent. Gordon's face hardens, and he takes a step toward Ross, his voice low and menacing. "Excuses? You've got no idea what you're talking about." The tension is unbearable, and the audience is frozen, waiting for what comes next. The producers are now screaming into their headsets, unsure whether to pull the plug or let the chaos unfold. This is no longer a talk show, it's a reckoning. The studio is a tinderbox, and Gordon Ramsay is the spark. His confrontation with Jonathan Ross has gone beyond a mere disagreement, it's a full-blown spectacle, one that's spiraling out of control. Gordon, still standing, glares at Ross, his voice dripping with contempt. "You think you can sit there and poke fun at my life? You're nothing but a glorified gossip." The audience gasps, and Ross's face flashes with a mix of anger and embarrassment. He tries to laugh it off, but the laugh is hollow, and the crowd isn't buying it. "Come on, Gordon, it's just a bit of fun," Ross says, his voice strained. but Gordon's not having it. He steps closer, his presence dominating the stage. Fun? You call dragging my name through the mud fun? You don't know what it takes to survive in my world. The audience is now fully divided as some cheer Gordon's defiance, while others are uncomfortable with the intensity. Ross, desperate to regain control, tries to pivot to a prepared question about Gordon's latest TV project, but the chef cuts him off. I'm not here to play your game, Jonathan. I'm done with this circus. The crowd erupts, and the producers are now in a frenzy, signaling to the floor manager to intervene. But Gordon's not finished. He launches into a tirade about the media's obsession with trauma, how every mistake is blown out of proportion, how his passion is twisted into a caricature. You lot love to tear people down, don't you? It's all about clicks and headlines. Ross, now visibly angry, snaps back. You're not exactly helping yourself right now, Gordon. It's a mistake. Gordon's eyes blaze, and he takes another step toward Ross, his voice booming. Helping myself? I've built an empire while you sit here making jokes. The audience is on its feet, some cheering, some shouting. As the confrontation reaches a fever pitch, the producers finally make the call to cut to commercial, but not before Gordon delivers one final blow. You want a show? I'll give you a bloody show. With that, he rips off his mic, tosses it to the floor, and storms off the stage. The crowd goes wild, a mix of shock and awe, as Ross sits stunned, trying to process what just happened. The cameras cut away, but the damages done at this moment will live on in infamy. Social media is already exploding with clips, memes, and hot takes, as the world tries to make sense of what they just witnessed. The question now is, what happens next? Will Gordon return, or has he burned a bridge too far? The commercial break does little to cool the heat in the studio. As the cameras roll again, Jonathan Ross is alone on stage, his usual charm replaced by a forced smile. The audience, still buzzing from Gordon Ramsay's dramatic exit, is restless, whispering and checking their phones for updates. Ross addresses the crowd, trying to salvage the segment. Well, that was something, wasn't it? Never a dull moment with Gordon. The crowd laughs nervously, but the energy is off. Backstage, the producers are in chaos, debating whether to coax Gordon back or move on to the next guest. Word spreads that Gordon is in the green room, pacing furiously, refusing to return. Ross, ever the professional, pushes forward, introducing a musical performance to buy time. But the audience's attention is elsewhere, their phones lighting up with viral clips of the confrontation. Social media is ablaze with hashtags like #Gordon vs Ross and #RamsayRant, as fans and critics alike dissect every moment. Some praise Gordon for his raw honesty, calling him a hero for standing up to the media machine. Others slam him as unhinged, accusing him of overreacting to harmless banter. Meanwhile, Ross's team is scrambling to control the narrative, issuing statements to downplay the incident as passionate banter gone awry. But the truth is undeniably this was no ordinary interview. Gordon's outburst tapped onto a deeper frustration, one shared by many who feel misunderstood by the media. His refusal to play along with Ross's provocation struck a chord, even as it shocked viewers. Back in the studio, Ross tries to regain his footing, cracking jokes about Gordon's temper, but the audience's response is tepid. The confrontation has overshadowed everything else, and Ross knows it. Behind the scenes, Gordon's team is in damage control mode, fielding calls from outlets eager for a comment. Some speculate that Gordon planned the outburst for publicity, but those close to him insist it was genuinely a breaking point. After years of scrutiny, the chef's vulnerability, briefly glimpsed amid his anger, has humanized him for some, while others see it as a meltdown. The internet is divided, with memes and think pieces flooding every platform. As the show continues, The absence of Gordon looms large, a reminder of the raw power of unfiltered emotion. Ross, for his part, is determined to move on, but the shadow of the confrontation lingers. The question on everyone's mind is whether this will define Gordon's legacy or become just another chapter in his larger-than-life story. The aftermath of Gordon Ramsay's exit from the Jonathan Ross Show is a media frenzy unlike any other. Clips of the confrontation dominate every platform, from YouTube to TikTok, with millions of views within hours. Pundits and fans alike debate whether Gordon went too far or if Ross crossed a line with his relentless probing. Some call it a masterclass in authenticity, praising Gordon for refusing to be a polished TV puppet. Others label it a career-damaging tantrum, questioning whether he can recover from such a public outburst. Talk shows and news outlets dissect the moment frame by frame, analyzing Gordon's body language, Ross's reactions, and the audience's divided response. Meanwhile, Gordon remains uncharacteristically silent, posting nothing on social media and declining interviews. His team releases a brief statement. Gordon is passionate about his craft and sometimes that passion spills over. He stands by his words. Ross, on the other hand, takes to Twitter with a light-hearted quip. Note to self, don't poke the bear. Thanks for the show, Gordon. The tweet goes viral, but it does little to quell the storm. Fans of Gordon rally behind him, flooding comment sections with support, while detractors argue he's too volatile for primetime TV. The incident sparks a broader conversation about the pressure on celebrities to perform, the media's role in amplifying conflict, and the fine line between entertainment and exploitation. Some point out that Ross's style provocative and boundary-pushing has set the stage for the clash, while others argue Gordon's temper was always a ticking time bomb. Industry insiders speculate about the fallout. Will Gordon be blacklisted from certain shows? Will Ross's reputation as a host take a hit? The answers remain unclear, but one thing is certain: this moment has redefined both men in the public eye. Gordon's raw, unfiltered passion has cemented his image as a force of nature, for better or worse. Ross, meanwhile, faces scrutiny for his handling of the situation, with some calling him out for pushing too far. As the debate rages on, the incident becomes a cultural touchstone, a reminder of the power and peril of live television. The world waits to see how Gordon and Ross will navigate the fallout, and whether this clash will lead to reconciliation or further conflict. Days after the explosive confrontation, the story of Gordon Ramsay's exit from the Jonathan Ross Show continues to dominate headlines. The incident has transcended the realm of entertainment, sparking discussions about authenticity, media dynamics, and the human cost of fame. Gordon, still silent on social media, is reportedly focusing on his restaurants and upcoming projects, letting the storm blow over. Sources close to him say he's unapologetic but reflective, aware that his outburst may have polarized his audience. Meanwhile, Jonathan Ross addresses the incident on his next show, opening with a heartfelt monologue. "We love having passionate guests, and sometimes things get heated. Gordon's a legend, and I wish him nothing but the best." The audience applauds, but online reactions are mixed. Some see it as a genuine olive branch, others as damage control. The incident has also prompted a wave of think pieces, with commentators exploring the pressures of celebrity culture and the role of talk shows in exploiting personal struggles for ratings. Some defend Gordon, arguing that his outburst was a natural response to years of being typecast as the angry chef. Others criticize Ross for failing to de-escalate, pointing to his history of controversial moments. The clip of Gordon storming off has become a meme, remixed with everything from dramatic music to cartoon sound effects. But beneath the humor lies a deeper truth. This was a rare glimpse into the raw, unfiltered reality of a public figure. Industry experts predict the incident will have lasting effects, potentially changing how talk shows handle volatile guests. For Gordon, it's a double-edged sword. His authenticity has won him new fans, but it's also reignited debates about his temperament. Ross, meanwhile, faces pressure to adapt his approach, with some calling for a more empathetic style. As the dust settles, one thing is clear: the confrontation has left an indelible mark on both men's careers and the landscape of television. Whether it's remembered as a moment of triumph or a cautionary tale, it's a reminder that in the high-stakes world of live TV, anything can happen. The world will be watching to see how Gordon and Ross move forward, and whether this clash becomes a defining moment or just another footnote in their storied careers.